He's the All Blacks' greatest try scorer and for more than 50 test matches in succession was an automatic choice. But at 27, Christian Cullen has almost certainly played his last match for the national side. Dropped from the team last year, he wasn't wanted for the game's pinnacle, the Rugby World Cup. Instead, as the All Blacks World Cup campaign moves into the business end of the competition, Christian Cullen will be preparing to meet his new teammates at Irish club side Munster.
Christian Cullen is one of the finest rugby players this country has produced, and the NPC this season has been something of a farewell tour of the country for him.
A farewell tour with one last date after Wellington's semi-final against Waikato. This week's NPC final will be the last time Christian Cullen plays in New Zealand. The last time he wears the treasured black and gold.
Oh, I love Wellington.
Christian wasn't selected was through form.
He's a young international. It was a surprise, but I mean, that's just how he is. I mean, Mitchell, and that's how he wanted to do it, so...
What would have been the point of that, though?
I wouldn't have a clue, mate. I honestly don't know. Maybe, you know, he wanted to make a stand, and that was his first, you know, he was a coach of the All Blacks, you know, his first tour, and, yeah, I don't know, maybe he wanted to make a stand, and, you know, he was the man, and he was the man in charge, and he called the shots.
Christian Cullen took it on the chin, and last year came back from his injury to again make the All Blacks.
I've always said to them, never lay on the ground, mate, because as soon as they know you're injured, they'll be after you. Get up quickly, even if you're hurt. Go back to your position and then think about it.
Christian went back to the position he knows best, scoring 4 tries in 5 tests as the All Blacks went close to reclaiming the Bledisloe Cup. In the disappointment that followed, Christian was the only player to be dropped. And the way he was dropped made him feel as if he was being made an example of.
Yeah, we were just hanging out in the team room before the team was about to be announced, and I think we were in Durban, and yeah, sitting on the seat, and I think it was Robbie Deans came in and said, can we speak to you? So, you know, got up and walked out in front of everybody and took me outside the team room and said, oh, you know, we won't be starting you this week. And I was like, oh, you know, oh, cheers. And, you know, everybody was quiet in the team, and I, you know, walked back in, sat down, and then they announced the team. And, yeah, it was a funny feeling, you know, you kind of, I don't know, feel embarrassed and stink, and, yeah, I just sat there with my head down and, you know, felt pretty down for the rest of that week.
So what do you do when you're not even in the squad on tour?
It's quite tough, you know. I never realised how tough it was, you know. You just feel like you're on the outside all the time, and, you know, you try not to eat with the guys while they're eating. You've got to, you know, go on your own time and sort of do your own training, you know, with the other 3 or 4 guys that are with you, and, yeah, it's quite tough.
But he picked himself up again, this year having arguably one of his best Super 12 seasons for the Hurricanes. He scored 8 tries in 12 games, on his way to a total of 56 Super 12 tries, a record for the competition. And while many considered him to be a certainty for the All Blacks, Christian had his doubts.
I thought I'd played well, but deep down I knew. I reckon I could have played like Superman during the Super 12 and I wouldn't have got in. I just had a feeling. I said to Dave, I said, oh, you know, people were saying, oh, you're in, you know, you play well, and I said, oh, I don't think so. I just had that feeling deep down that I knew that I wasn't in.
If not making the 2003 All Blacks was hard to take, Christian says worse was to follow. All Black coach John Mitchell's comments to a newspaper made headlines up and down the country and gave the clearest indication yet that Christian Cullen would never again be an All Black.
I mean, I was pretty pissed off the way he did a player review on me to all of New Zealand, how many people in New Zealand, you know, 4 million people, and he didn't actually ring me up and tell me. I read it in the paper like everybody else, which I think was pretty poor. I wouldn't have minded if he had rung me up and told me why I wasn't in that team. I didn't expect to be in it, but he he just went out there and, you know, said this is why he's not in the team. And I had about 8 or 9 things wrong with my game. And so if I had that many things wrong with my game, you know, I would have liked to have known what they were so I could have worked on them. But, yeah, and he did that, and that really annoyed me.
What do you think when you read something like that?
Actually, I said to my manager, I said, you better ring Munster and tell them they're getting a dud. Because I was a power, you know, I couldn't pass, I couldn't kick, you know, I couldn't tackle, I was caught out of position a lot. You know, I made too many mistakes, I couldn't goal kick. You know, 7 or 8 things wrong with my game. I was quite shocked, you know.
Some people watching this, though, will say, well, you're a professional sportsman, you get paid a lot of money to do it, harden up.
Yeah, I guess so, but I guess they're the All Black coaches, and if they want the best out of their players, then they should tell the players what they need to be improving, and yeah, I never got that.
How do you think you've been treated by John Mitchell and Robbie Deans?
Pretty poorly, I guess. But as I said, I mean, that's the way they want to do it. You know, I'll take that on the chin. I mean, I guess I'm not happy about it, but at the end of the day, there's not much I can do about it. They're the coaches and the guys that pick the team, and I mean, there's not much I can do about it. I'll probably never forget it, and I'll probably, you know, if I've seen them down the street, you know, or in a bar, I'll probably walk out the other door. But
Really?
yeah, I mean, we were in Hamilton when we played it, and we seen Mitchell in there, and I just said I was with Peter Alatini, and I said let's go, because I didn't want to speak to him or have time for him.
When 60 Minutes approached the All Black management and put Christian Cullen's concerns to them, both John Mitchell and Robbie Deans declined to comment.
Good luck to John Mitchell and the rest of the team. You know, I hope they go out and clean up the World Cup. But the old theory in life is you treat people how you expect to be treated yourself. And if you want to treat them like something off the floor, well, you expect to be treated the same way.
How difficult has it been for him these last couple of years?
Oh, fairly difficult, actually. It's been hell of a difficult. I mean, he's been kicked, put down, rolled over, and he's got up again and gone out and still achieved, and he's been kicked again. And I think the last kicking, if you like, was where he made up his mind, well, I'll go overseas.
At Munster and Ireland, they reckon they've got the deal of a lifetime. Christian Cullen is signed to play for 3 years at a club whose previous greatest claim to fame was a victory over the 1978 All Blacks.
Nicely taken by Munster, and this is a try!
And Munster's Australian coach Alan Gaffney can't believe he scored someone he sees as one of the greatest present-day All Blacks.
He's a superstar, has been for a decade. One of the great players ever to play the game of rugby, in my opinion. To be truthful, I'm astounded that he's sort of ranked 4 or 5 and 15 in number 15 in New Zealand. When I was back home in Australia, the people back there are of the same opinion, that no one quite can understand what's occurred. But New Zealand's loss is definitely Munster's gain.
But in a final twist for Christian Cullen, he still can't play for his new club until he's released by the New Zealand Rugby Union. That's in the hands of All Black coach John Mitchell.
I'll probably hopefully get over there around the November the 10th, and still can't play, I think, until about the 20th, until I guess if the All Blacks make the final in the World Cup or semis and there's no injuries, because apparently the cover at fullback is not, you know, they think they haven't got enough cover there, which surprises me.
You haven't been released from your contract yet, because, I mean, it needs some fullback cover. We've had Leon McDonald this year, Ben Blair, Doug Hallett, Mills Muliaina. So you're obviously the 5th best fullback in the country. Yeah,
I think there's Ben Tinga too as well. I think he can play there. So, yeah, I mean, it seems pretty silly to me. Yeah, I mean, 5 or 6 guys who have to break their legs before, you know, I get a look in, or even then, I reckon they'd find somebody else.
In fact, just before Friday's NPC semi-final, it was announced that All Black fullback Ben Blair had been injured and would likely be replaced at the World Cup by Ben Atinga. So what's the likelihood of John Mitchell ringing you up and saying, we need more cover, come over?
I'd say 0. I guess, yeah, I mean, he's only rung me once this year to tell me that I wasn't in that first team, and that's been it. So, yeah, him ringing me to go over to the World Cup, I'm not crossing my fingers, mate, I tell you.
Cullen, kick and chase, danger here.
Sitting next to Trish and Chris Cullen, for the first time in my life I find myself supporting Wellington.
Every game we watch Wellington we get like this. So I got no hair.
Wellington hang on in a one-point thriller. Yes! But in the elation of their team making the NPC final comes the realisation that sadness is just around the corner.
The only thing I've requested of him is the last game he plays in New Zealand, before he walks off the field, I want his boots. That's it. I want his boots. The last pair of boots he ever wears on New Zealand soil I want. And I'll keep the mud on him and I'll get him to sign them. And I'll keep them.
Christian Cullen's New Zealand career could yet finish on a bit of a high. He plays for Wellington against Auckland in the NPC final on Saturday. Meanwhile, his controversial biography, Life on the Run, is likely to keep him in the spotlight for some time to come. We're back in a moment.
The only thing I've requested of him is the last game he plays in New Zealand, before he walks off the field, I want his boots. That's it. I want his boots. The last pair of boots he ever wears on New Zealand soil I want. And I'll keep the mud on him and I'll get him to sign them. And I'll keep them.